What's cracking, you guys? N64, you're gonna get an Ultra HDMI installed. This is the HW2 revision. Gotta install these two ribbon cables. And I'm also gonna throw in a slow change LED to replace the stock red one. First, let's get the bulk of the work done by soldering giant ribbon cable onto the main board. There's this one, then there's this white dot. You're gonna start your soldering for the ribbon cable one leg over to the top or the right. So just move over one right here, and that's where you're gonna solder your flex. So it's gonna go on just like this. All right, so I'm gonna do this is I'm gonna start off with some solder and flux. I'm just gonna tack each one of these in as I go up, try to keep it straight. Beautiful, that's exactly what you want right there. So I'm gonna move on down and put some fresh solder on. Yeah, these are all making good contact. So now that that's good, I'm gonna move on to the next step. So if we look down here, you've got these two small ribbon cables. You just turn those upwards and hit these two capacitors. So same thing, I'm gonna add a little bit of flux. So I'm gonna hit this with my left. Beautiful. Now let's get the other one. Okay, this all looks good. Moving on. Now this board here, I should have started off with this. This is a CPU-08. You can find it there at the top of your board by the cartridge slot. So because of that, I've got to use that small connection to the right. It's a via. I'm gonna see if I can get some solder on this. I might have to scratch this a little bit. Hopefully not. Yeah, I might have to, but let me see what I can do. Let me get some solder on that. Excellent. That's what we want to see. Okay, that is secure. Next we're going to move up. This short piece is going to end up on 27, which is right below 28 here. We're going to land this shorter end onto 27. So just like before, a little bit of flux. All right. I'm going to start with putting some solder on this pin. Great, not going anywhere. I love it. Cool. So that's it for this big old ribbon cable here. I'm gonna clean it up a little bit and we'll move on. All right, let's move on to our next solder points. So these are it right here. All right, let's flux this up. Set this in. I'm gonna add a little more solder to each one of these. Great. Absolutely great. That looks really good. Okay. Now we can clean this off. That's it for the soldering, you guys. I hope this quick tutorial helped you guys out. Showed you guys what I can do. Yeah, I'll fast forward through the rest of the procedure. It's basically just going to be laying these ribbon cables into position, cutting the case so you can fit these cables in, and The other parts, like this, I'm gonna install an LED. Oh, you know what? I'll show you guys that part. Real easy. Okay, so that's all cleaned up. We're gonna go to our LED here. So if you look closely, you can see we want to match the same orientation that it's in, because you don't want to mix up the anode and cathode side. So we're just going to solder it in exactly how it is, just like that. So I'm going to bend it. Remove the old one and install the new one. Old one's out. Wick did the trick. We're gonna throw this in and just solder and call it good. All right, you guys, I'm gonna throw some flux on here, some solder, and we're done. All right, guys, that's all done. LED's in. I'm just gonna trim those legs, reassemble, and we're good to go. Thanks for watching.